Good to see you again on our channel. The horrifying truth is finally revealed today by Agnetha Fältskog. Swinging 1960s Sweden, a mecca for pop music with an abundance of local talent. Each member of ABBA was already a household name in Sweden before the group became famous around the world. For example, Benny Andersson was a member of the Hepstars, who were known as the Swedish Beatles. Yeah, you read it correctly. They have 9 number 1 singles and 20 that peaked in the top 20. While performing at a concert with the hip-hop artists and Bjorn Ovius's band, the Hootenanny Singers, Benny's paths collided with Bjorn. So much for destiny, isn't it? The trajectory of pop music history was altered when these two met and began writing songs together. Nevertheless, as the old adage goes, everything good must eventually end. While filming an imitation of A Hard Day's Night, the Hepstars ran into trouble. The band broke up due to creative differences and financial problems. Another door, however, opened for Benny just as the first one shut. Annifrid Fredlingstad was a gifted pop and jazz vocalist who had recently won a Swedish national talent contest and a recording deal in 1967 when Benny met her in the band's last days. As Benny proceeded to produce Frida's first solo album in 1971, love and music intertwined. Benny, Bjorn, and Bjorn's wife, Agnetha Fältskog, all contributed backup vocals to the album's big single, Minigenstad. By the way, did you hear that Agnetha was already a famous actress? By 1968, her self-titled solo album and the single, I Was So in Love, had topped the charts. Moving on, we can see how ABBA became symbols all across the world. People Need Love, a memorable song by Benny and Bjorn, was the starting point. A turning point in Frida and Agnetha's careers came when the song was a smash hit with their lovely supporting vocals. They received an invitation to compete in the Eurovision Song Contest Swedish qualifiers as a result of the publicity surrounding People Need Love. In case you haven't heard, Eurovision is a huge annual singing competition where countries from Europe participate, with frequently extravagant performances. And if you've watched Fire Saga, a Netflix parody of the Eurovision Song Contest, you've seen a little bit of its special charisma. Oh, and by the way, did you know that ABBA's first attempt at Eurovision in 1973 was far from successful? It was shocking, actually. Their entry, Ring Ring, came in at number 3, and they went by the names Bjorn, Benny, Agnetha, and Frida. Refusing to give up, the band resurfaced in 1974 under the moniker ABBA, an abbreviation for their initials. This time it's Waterloo, the catchy tune. They were the first Swedish artists to ever win Eurovision, and they didn't only win the Swedish competition. Not only did Waterloo emerge victorious, it also became famous. At the Eurovision Song Contest's golden anniversary, the song was chosen as the finest of all time. Did you know that ABBA almost became a one-hit wonder? It's true. After Waterloo swept the globe, they had a string of unsuccessful singles and albums. For example, the UK was largely uninterested in their song, Ring Ring, which they had thought would become a hit. In a subsequent interview with The Guardian, Bjorn acknowledged that the band was experimenting with a semi-glam rock sound, drawing inspiration from acts like The Sweet. But come on, the pop charts will always have ABBA's heart. Problems arose during their 1974 to 1975 European tour, when they played to small audiences or had to postpone performances in big cities like Paris and London. Low ticket sales were so bad that they even had to cancel concerts in Switzerland. It must have been difficult to take that in. But ABBA reverted to their roots in the summer of 1975. To reacquaint themselves with their heritage, they went back to the beloved little Swedish folk parks. SOS and Mamma Mia, from their appropriately named third album ABBA, catapulted the band back into the spotlight at the same time, bringing them worldwide renown once again. Mamma Mia was number 1 for a full 10 weeks in Australia. The band had amassed enough number 1 singles by year's end to release a greatest hits album, which featured Fernando, a song that would go on to become the best-selling single in Australia's history and the charts of 13 other nations. Their 1976 fourth album, arrival cemented their status as pop music royalty. In his review for Pitchfork, Simon Goddard noted that, with the iconic helicopter picture on the album cover, they finally looked like the superstars that they were. Who also remembers Dancing Queen? It was the sole single from this album to reach #1 in the United States. Absolutely the best song ABBA have ever done, Frida acknowledged in a 2016 interview with The Guardian, adding that the song itself brought her to tears. The band ABBA was unstoppable by 1977. On their massive tour across Europe, they attracted 100,000 people, and in Australia, they drew 150,000. While on the go, they shot ABBA, the film, which has an offbeat blend of live performances, scripted moments of candidness, and interviews with the public, basically a precursor to the reality TV shows of today. If you didn't know, ABBA's Benny and Bjorn converted a Stockholm cinema theater into the world-famous Polar Music Studio in 1978. This studio wasn't like any other. It was the site of many famous bands' recordings, including the Beastie Boys and Led Zeppelins through the outdoors. Recordings by Celine Dion and the Ramones were made there until 2004 when it closed. Imagine a place steeped with history. Still, ABBA wasn't only in it for the money in 1978. Additionally, Benny and Frida were married that year, which was likely a very joyous occasion. In early 1979, though, Agnetha and Bjorn announced their divorce, and things began to change. Do you have any idea? However, ABBA persisted in creating music that fused energetic melodies with profoundly emotional lyrics despite their individual hardships. Do you know the song If It Wasn't for the Nights? Despite being a disco song, the words are heavy with melancholy. Some of Buran's own difficult circumstances during the breakup were reflected in these songs. He even said, in 1980, on their final tour, ABBA played before sold-out crowds in Japan, including 6 nights at the legendary Budokan Arena. Many believe that Buran and Agnetha's divorce served as inspiration for the anthem The Winner Takes It All, which was also released that year. Despite Buran's insistence that it was all fiction, written during their breakup, Agnetha said in an interview with the Daily Mail that the song was very personal to her. Isn't it amazing how music has the power to convey such intimate, genuine emotions? November 1980 saw the release of Super Trooper. Distancing themselves from the disco vibes, ABBA returned to their pop-rock roots with this album. They brought back all the feelings that made us fall in love with them. Benny and Bjorn collaborated on a new project called Chess at about the same time with lyricist Tim Rice. The fact that this musical was set during a chess tournament during the Cold War and revolved on a love triangle demonstrates how adaptable these guys were. The musical's concept album included the hit song, One Night in Bangkok, despite the album's mediocre reviews. A word of warning, though, if you're planning to sing this during karaoke, it's possible that the lyrics don't quite fit in with the modern environment. ABBA took a vacation, but Agnetha and Frida went their separate ways. After putting out 3 albums, Agnetha took a break from the spotlight to pursue her hobbies, and she didn't return until 2004. In contrast, Frida became a princess through marriage and had commercial success in 1982 with her album Something Going On, which she co-wrote with Phil Collins. In June, the 4 members of ABBA gave a touching performance after reuniting at Mamma Mia, a Stockholm party. Next, in October 2016, they unveiled an innovative initiative to create avatars, or lifelike avatars. An air of anticipation permeated the atmosphere. ABBA made a shocking announcement in 2018. There were 2 new tracks in the works. However, patiently wait until 2021 when their highly anticipated singles were eventually released to the world. Please don't silence me. I still believe in you. Everyone was breaking out in tears of nostalgia after watching the music video for the former. A new era began in 2021. With the launch of ABBA Voyage came a musical residency that would feature both digital avatars and a real band. The publication of Voyage, their first record in 4 decades, marked this monumental finish. Hold for a second. Did you see anything that suggests this could not be their last bow? May 2022 came and went, and the debut of ABBA Voyage left fans speechless. The news that Benny Andersson dropped hints that ABBA's group collaborations might be coming to an end was bittersweet, too. Tragically, long-standing guitarist Lasse Wellander passed away in April 2023, which dampened the ABBA legacy. A watershed moment in ABBA's history came in March 2024, when the band was presented with a distinguished award by the King of Sweden. Who would have thought that this wild journey spanning decades would be so unpredictable? Which ABBA performance from the past few years do you remember most fondly? Let us rejoice in the enduring enchantment of ABBA by sharing our opinions in the comments section.